This mandolin is 200 years old and I want to tell you its story. Firstly, thank you so much to Zathios for requesting this video. This is the mandolin I used on my music video for You Jacobites by Name, which I've linked down in the description. And Zathios asked if I could tell the story behind this mandolin because it is a pretty intriguing instrument. I'm going to caveat this video by saying I don't know the full 200-year history of this instrument because I wasn't around for most of it, but what I can do is tell you my part of its story and also what people have told me about this instrument. My story with this mandolin started when I was at sixth form. I was living with my grandparents in Kendal, and just round the corner from their house there was this antiques shop called Sleddle Hall Antiques. And Google tells me it's still there, but I remember it being like an Aladdin's cave where every possible space was piled high with old, mysterious objects gathering dust. And I used to love going in there and rummaging around the shelves for treasures. And one day I spotted this mandolin looking pretty sorry for itself, covered in dust on one of the shelves. So I took it downstairs to the owners to ask them about it, and they said it was interesting because it has 12 strings. Most mandolins have 8 strings, which are tuned in pairs, so each of the 2 notes are tuned to the same note. But this has got 3 strings for each note. He said it was probably 200 years old, and he guessed it was from Sicily. Now, he didn't give me any evidence to back this up, so if you're an expert on old round-back mandolins, then what do you think? Let me know in the comments if you've got any ideas as to where this mandolin might be from. So I took it home, all excited to play it, and it was impossible to play. Firstly, it was completely out of tune. Some of the strings were just sliding all over the place and I didn't seem to be able to tighten the strings up at all. And there was cracks in it, there was bits missing. It was in a bad state. So this was not an ideal instrument to learn the mandolin on. So my granddad, Norman, is one of those people who would do anything to help anyone and does not give up easily. He found a luthier who lived not too far away in Morecambe and he said, "Josh, get in the car, I'm going to drive you to Morecambe and we're going to get this mandolin fixed." So we did just that. I don't remember the exact name of the luthier, I just remember that we climbed up loads of flights of stairs and got to this amazing attic room, which was filled with every kind of acoustic instrument you could imagine. There was even like a tortoise shell. I don't know what instrument that was, but it was pretty cool. And we presented this to the luthier and said, "What do you think?" And his face fell and he said, "I'm going to do what I can, but when I call you up, please don't be surprised if this will never be playable again," but he'll see what he can do. So off we went. A couple of weeks later, my granddad got a phone call. We went back, climbed up all those stairs again, and we were delighted when the luthier told us that not only had he managed to make it look like this, which I think it looks beautiful, but he'd managed to get it to the point it was fully playable again. He repaired this section. This was what was stopping the strings being playable because they were just slipping all over the place and coming off the edges of the mandolin. So this was fully replaced. This bridge was out of place, so he put this back in the right place. There were bits of mother of pearl missing, so he managed to find some mother of pearl and cut it to the right shape. He repaired the crack in the back. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but there's not much evidence of the crack anymore. He did a really good job there. He loosened the tuning pegs so that they could tune the strings again, and most of the strings are the original strings. You can see there is one silver string where the rest of them are bronze, but all the rest of the strings were original. He said he didn't want to replace them because they'd held so much tension that he thought it might do more damage than good, so he left them on, and to be fair, I think they still sound pretty good. So this mandolin is now fully playable. It is not an easy mandolin to play. I think having 3 strings per note means you have to press down really hard and the action is really high. That means the strings are quite high over the fretboard, which means you have to press down really, really hard. I'm not really a mandolin player, but I wanted to use this instrument, so I learned the parts I needed to on this mandolin. When I originally recorded Lendonir in 2013, despite putting a picture of this mandolin on the front cover, I didn't actually play the mandolin much on the record. I think I put the odd note here or there, because it was just so hard to play. So when it came round to re-recording Lendonir, which was released just this January gone, then I decided I really had to learn to play this mandolin, even just for a few parts. Because this mandolin has been such a big part of making Lendoneer, I wanted it to have a more significant part this time round, so I took it all the way up to the Isle of Mull and played it on the music video for You Jacobites by Name, and this was the first take we did. The reason for that being the weather was horrendous. It was the middle of December, it was in the middle of Storm Bram, and the rain had temporarily stopped, and I wanted to make sure this would not get wet. So we did the take, wrapped it back up in towels, put it safely in a box, and put it safely back in the car before the downpour started again. I'm so pleased we managed to get this on the video. It feels right that it finally gets to be part of the album story, and if you've seen the video, I think you'll agree that this mandolin looks epic in all of those shots. So you've heard the story of this mandolin, here's what it sounds like. Come, child, do not fear me, you are safe beneath the leaves. I come to you in peace, my brothers are the trees. Don't look at me with such terror and fire within your eyes. You want to fly, don't be shy, so who am I? I'll tell you, the one who dwells within the greens of hills and puts the frills on bluebell. As you can hear, it's very loud, it's very bright. It's not the easiest mandolin to play by a long stretch, but it's got a real special place in my heart. So I really hope I use it again on an album. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. I'll tell you, the one who dwells within the greens of hills and puts the frills on bluebells. I forge the flowers, friend of ferns and evergreens. I'm the one who feeds the fruit and tends the roots of oak and ash and holly. The roof my leaves, the moss my velvet carpeting.